What's up? Zach back here again today for Down South Racing, and like I told y'all in the last video, guys, we are here at Blanket Chip Tuning and Performance. I know you can't really tell, but we're here getting the cards. Hopefully, you know, everything goes well on E85 today. Lee has a small concern, I think I explained in the last video, but the first time I was here, because I was having boost spike issues, this is the reason I say hopefully getting tuned on E85. Like, the car is on E85, and like, but you know, obviously make full power potential and everything. Because I do not have a return style fuel system, I just have W400 and a booster pump. The fuel pressure seemed to be dropping a little rapidly last time, down to about 50 pounds. And I explained about the base pressure because, like, my car's gonna be on 10 pounds of boost, and 10 pounds, you take that away from 50 pounds to get your base pressure, so it would be 40 pounds. If it truly was 50, it should be higher than that, but like my ID1050X injectors might not be able to support much more than like 700 on E85. So hopefully, you know, as long as we have more than that, we should be, you know, pretty good for today. But I got my girlfriend with me, so, you know, she's in for a nice surprise today because she loves my car, as you all know. But yeah, so let's go in and basically, you know, like I said, guys, I'm not concerned at all with dyno numbers. I just want the car to make what it makes and run and drive as good as it can and be reliable. So, you know, I'll show you all the car, and when we start doing some pulls, I'll show you those. Are you pleased to be here? All right, so there's the car, and hopefully everything goes much better than it did last time, although I guess it couldn't go a whole lot worse, unless it blows up, which I really hope it doesn't. But the car's cleaner this time, as you all can tell. I couldn't even see through the windshield last time because I drove through like 3 tornadoes. You missed out on that. Good time. She just smiles. But yeah, so hopefully we'll make, you know, close to 700, and, you know, everything will be good. Hopefully also we're going to do some street logging since it's supposed to be nice today and get that little 3/4 shift kink worked out. But I think Lee was looking at like the first little data log right now, and then we'll hopefully be making some pulls here soon. So I'll keep you all updated. Alright guys, I don't know if y'all can hear me, but without correction factor, the car just made 700.1. With correction factor, it was like 680 something. I couldn't quite read it. That's why I had it zoomed in there for a second. I'll cut some of it out, but I was waiting on it to display, but he hadn't quite slowed the dyno down yet. I think he revved it to about 6,500, 6,700, I think. About 6,500. So, not bad. Alright guys, so that pull was 16 degrees of timing on E85, so fairly low, and corrected it made about 675 and 654 torque at, we revved it to, like I said, about 6,500. So, you know, it was peaking right there about 6,400 on 16 degrees of timing. You know, that's kind of going to be the drawback of the smaller turbos, but we're kind of hoping that the ported 18 manifold will, you know, bump our peak power up to like somewhere, you know, a little closer to 7,000. So, you know, Lee said you could throw up to 23 degrees of timing with the 85, like in perfect conditions, but we're also on probably winter ethanol, which is going to be more around 70-75% E. So we're thinking, you know, probably maximum of 19 to 20 degrees of timing. And so, you know, like I said, the car should make just over 700 corrected on that type of power. The reason it made 700.1 uncorrected is because it's about 40 degrees outside today. So, but you know, I mean, like today, the car would have, on that exact tune-up, would have made 700 and possibly even a little bit more out on the road, because it is different. You know, you get the air rushing through the intercooler and everything like that, even though he does have fans going. But so we're gonna see. He's about to put the next tune in here, and we'll see what she does. Seemed like the car made a little less power that time, like 660 or something like that. I couldn't quite see it in time. Looks like it made 665 torque as well, so looks like the graph is a little wavy up top, so hopefully nothing's wrong. Just make some changes and move on. Alright guys, so at this point in the video, this is where I was going to be like, oh my god, you know, blah, 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 I can't believe that this is actually working. So excited. Thanks you to everyone who's been involved. But unfortunately, per usual, sorry, this chair is a little weird. I'm trying to sit down and do this. But we had issues, you know, per usual. And one of the issues we had last time at the dyno was we noticed fuel pressure drop, but we definitely assumed that it was due to the boost spiking issue. So obviously, as you all know, E85 requires more fuel because E85 burns slower. It requires more of it, and it has, you know, a stoich of like 10.0, 10.2, whatever. So like, for those of you who understand this, like I've been learning as I go along as well, so I understand if you don't, but like basically, so for that means on wide open, you would command a like 0.78-ish, 0.8-ish lambda. And at the top of the rev range, my car was going like 0.85. So there's just 5% is a pretty big deal at that point. So that means it was trending lean. So basically, long story short, we did some street logging on the car and got the trans fixed, the 3/4 shift. But we were a little stumped. So, you know, people had said this DW400 and boost pump combo would work, but I couldn't make it work. Lee himself actually pulled up a data log from a car he had before with just a DW400 and DW95 injectors, which are like 1000 cc or a little bit less. Mine are 1000 or 1050s. I think they're like 1065 cc. So I've got a little bit more injector and should have more fueling since I have a booster pump. And the booster pump was working. We verified that. So it was like between 17 and 18 volts. I can't remember exactly what it was. But again, working. So, my injector duty cycle was calculated on an online calculator, and the way you do that is with you get an injector pulse width reading, and you get RPM, and then you calculate the injector duty cycle. Well, long story short, at 5,000 RPM, mine were at 70%, and the other guys with the DW400 no booster pump and smaller injectors, albeit with a blower, were somewhere around like 57%. So mine are obviously already higher, and they should be lower, if that makes any sense. So at 7,000 RPM, mine were at 110%, and his were at like 95. So, you know, 95 is about exactly like the maximum you really ever want to live with. Like a small spike, you know, way up in the RPM range is okay. But basically, Lee was explaining to me that once your your injectors max out, your fueling from the computer basically is also locked out. Like it no longer tries to control it, which is not good. So not what we want. So we deduced that the issue was not in the injectors because both banks were reading, you know, similar AFRs, and let's see what else. The pressure that I'm about to show you now as you can see, the pressure was dropping all the way to 44 psi. i.e. obviously not good. So at 44 psi fuel pressure, and 10 pounds of boost, that means your differential or base pressure is 34 psi. Those ID 1050s probably couldn't support 600 wheel at that type of level. So obviously we're either having a pump issue or a leak somewhere. So again, long story short, took the car back to Somerset. Will take the hat out and stuff. Didn't find any leaks, but we replaced one line anyways, just for the heck of it, to get it to be a better rubber line versus the little plastic accordion looking piece that's on their stock. So then this is where things got really interesting. On the way home, the car started to like almost sputter. Like the long-term fuel trims they were, still like as far as cruising, they were fine. Like they were between like 1 and 1.05. Short terms bounced between like 0.9 and like a little bit over 1.0. So, short terms obviously bounce a little bit, and your long terms you want to be as close as 1.00 as you can, but at least at 1 to 1.05 is fine. So, everything was fine, and then I turned the car off and stayed at my girlfriend's house for a little while, and all of a sudden, like on the way home, the long-term fuel trims went to like almost 1.3, which means it's 30% over, and like going up hills, the car would sputter and like it was going lean. So obviously wasn't getting fuel, which is not good. So I would just pretty much at this point had just given up and assumed the pump was dead, and that was pretty much going to be that. So I have decided that I am going to upgrade to a fuel system, albeit I don't know exactly when, and I don't know exactly which one. I've been in contact with my guys from Lethal and kind of talking back and forth with them about they have some Lethal kits themselves and a Siley system. So I'm not exactly sure what's going to go down, but it's eventually going to be the thing. So, but I myself just today had to limp the car home from work. Like it almost didn't make it. I live like literally 6 minutes from work, and it's all highway, so it's like 5 miles. And so 60 miles an hour, 60 to 65 cruise, the car was struggling. So like I just pretty much just limped it home, as little throttle as I could, and like the fuel trims would kind of get a little bit better, but cruising they were again almost 1.3, not good. The weird part was I noticed this on the way home from Somerset. If I would put the car in like fourth gear and like give it throttle, it would go, all of the fuel trim, short term and long term, would go as close to 1.00, if not 1.00, as they could. So that was really weird to me. So I guess something to do with the pump's frequency was messed up, i.e. I guess the pump is going out. So again, I'm not sure, but just a minute ago, I should have videoed this, but I was just mad and just messing around with it. I took the pump hat off myself, and I discovered that the siphon line had come off. So I reattached that and drove the car down the road, and it didn't fix it at first, but as I was pulling back into my driveway, I guess the car had learned a little bit and it seemed to correct itself. So I drove it 2 more times on like a 10-mile loop, and everything seems to be okay as far as cruising on E85. So what I'm going to do for right now is try to run the car out of E85 tonight and put it back on 93 for the time being, and pretty much just save up for a fuel system. Something I should have done in the first place, and I wouldn't have even considered this DW400 boost pump setup if I hadn't seen other people, make it work. So, it is what it is. It sucks, but, maybe it was a blessing in disguise, because who knows, maybe I wouldn't have had issues at the dyno, and then, the pump would have got worn out in E85 in a race or something, or just getting on it for fun. Like, the car could have went lean and very, very easily hurt the motor, or worse, blew up. So again, probably a blessing in disguise. The good takeaway that I had was, the turbo kit and the car were making good power. With 16 degrees of timing, it made, in the low 680s at 6,300 RPM. So, Lee said you could, like I said in the video, you could go up to 23 degrees if you're a little wild, but, I don't want to do that. So, probably 20 degrees of timing or so. And he said you should pick up about 20 wheel per degree of timing or so, 15 to 20. He said he figured more like 20 since it was lower timing in it for the time being. So that means the car might actually be more towards, the 750 wheel range. Again, I'm not chasing a number, but that's just, pretty much what I've seen. So I'm hoping that once I get the fuel system, we can go back and see Lee here in a month or two, whenever that, does turn out to be, and we'll finally get some numbers and not have any issues. But, for the time being, the car's probably just going to be run on 93, because I do drive the car every single day. Like, I've put almost 60,000 miles on the car, and I'll have it 2 years in like 20 days, like 25 days. So, I've put a lot of miles on the car, as you obviously can tell that I drive it. So, it sucks, like, what happens, but you live and you learn, and I'm thankful, I had Lee at the dyno. That's where the, dyno tuning comes into play. He was there, he could see everything, who knows if, because like I said, like, it really, really wasn't an issue until way higher up in the RPMs. Like, this is not talking bad about anybody at all, but if I would have had an email tune and they would have said, okay, go to 7,500, you know, let's get a watt log. Who knows what would have happened, you know? And so I'm thankful, you know, I made the choice to go with Lee. Lee's been excellent to me, and definitely be sure to check him out if you guys have any tuning requirements whatsoever for, you know, Ford, pretty much anything. So he specializes in Ford. I think he says he can do other stuff, but he doesn't, you know, doesn't spend a lot of time on other stuff. So you may have to leave your vehicle with him for an extended period of time. I know a lot of people don't want to do that. So, but, you know, Lee's been awesome, and, you know, he's literally a genius when it comes to this stuff. And so, you know, my car drives a lot better now. The transmission problem, for whatever reason, it showed in his log that the torque reduction was going into like torque reduction 7 or torque management 7, only on the 3/4 shift. So I don't know. So he's fixed that, and the car definitely seems to be shifting a lot better. So, you know, I got that, you know, revision for the 93 tune as well. So car's obviously not slow. I mean, you know, it's slow in terms of, you know, I guess the grand scheme of things. But to me, it's not slow. And to a lot of people, I'm sure it's not slow at a 600 plus wheel horsepower car. So, you know, I'm just going to have fun with it for the time being and, you know, just drive it around for right now. There's not a whole lot of races going on around me right now, at least, you know, for the next couple months. So that'll give me some good time to save up. I'm probably about to start a new job here soon. And so, you know, once I do that, I want to get settled into that and start saving up some more money. And we'll just have to go from there. So, but I've rambled on enough. So, you know, one last thing. Noticed I posted today we crossed 6,000 subscribers, which is awesome, guys. I can't thank you all enough for the continued support, you know, the hate, whatever. If you watch, I'm thankful for you. So, you know, I'm excited to show you all, you know, what 2020 is going to bring us, and, you know, keep sharing my build with you all, my buddies, you know, racing content, whatever else, you know, general tech tips. I'm by no means a mechanic, but, you know, I can show you all some stuff. So, you know, I hope I always like to, you know, I've always said, I guess, like, if I can just help out one person with my videos, that makes it worth it to me. I'm never going to be, you know, like, probably famous or anything like that, so I'm not really worried about that. I'm just trying to have a good time and do what I like doing. So, you know, once again, thank you all for the continued support. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas. I hope you all and your families do as well. And just like I said, guys, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for continued support. I will be back, and, you know, sometime after Christmas, we'll talk about what the exact plan for the car is, and we'll just have to go from there. But until then, guys, peace out, and I will catch you on the next one.